Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. Some of you may know just from social media, this summer I'm going to Camp America. I'm working at a camp for 2 months and then I'm going travelling afterwards for a month with my sister. And I have had a lot of people ask me about the application process because they're sort of interested in it as well. So I thought I'd do this video explaining about all the different steps just to explain it a bit from the point of view from someone who's actually done it. There's a lot of different steps to actually getting a placement and getting to America. So I'm going to put in some timestamps just in case you want to skip to a certain part of it, and I'll basically just be explaining what happened from my point of view. I know it's probably different for each person, questions they asked you, what it was like getting the visa and everything like that. So let's get started. So the first step is simply deciding that you want to go there. Just applying through the website is sort of like creating a profile for yourself. It's really easy and sort of self-explanatory. So obviously it'll ask you some personal information, just name, date of birth, stuff like that. You also have to upload a photo. Don't upload one drinking with your friends on a night out. Just a nice little photo of your face. I've got one from me when I was on holiday, just smiling. The happier you look, the better. And then they also ask you to write up a bit about your skills and your previous childcare experience. So I just put a load of my hobbies, singing, drama and lifeguarding. If you've got like first aid at work or just anything that you can put to kind of bulk up your application, that's the way to go. So if you've never had any experience with children, I don't think that's a problem at all, but I definitely recommend just volunteering somewhere like a youth club, just so you can say that you have worked with children before. You just need to show that you're passionate about working with children, and if you're not, then Camp America is probably not for you. And then you also need to upload activity pictures, which is obviously pictures of you getting involved and actually doing stuff. So whether that's playing a game of rugby or the activities that you've spoken about. And then you also need a couple of references too. So it really is just like a job application, but all online. You can do it in your own time, which I found really helpful. After you've completed the profile and you've answered a couple of yes and no medical questions, you'll be asked to pick an interviewer. That interviewer will first of all kind of push you to finish your application and get it all done, and they'll also book in a date to come and meet you to have an in-person interview to see if you're sort of suitable for Camp America. So it will come up with a big list of people and it can say choose later or choose now. I definitely recommend choosing then because you can see where they're all from. There was one in Northampton, but I didn't choose an interviewer because I was still like, ugh, you know. So it kind of automatically chose one for me, and they lived in Sheffield, which meant I would have had to travel all the way to Sheffield, which I didn't do. I ended up changing the interviewer easily enough. But yeah, I would say just to choose the interviewer then because it's just a bit easier. Step 2 is the in-person interview, and this isn't with people from the camp. This is from actual Camp America, just to see if you're suitable, if they think you do well, just make sure you're not like really shy. So for the interview I just had to bring my printout of my application and also my DBS check, which is basically just a criminal background check, I think, just to make sure you're okay to work with children. And they're about £50. So I just had to bring those along with me, and we met in a hotel literally 10 minutes away. It was in a cafe in the hotel, and I was so nervous for this. I remember I was looking online to see what type of questions they're going to ask because I didn't know what to expect at all, but it really wasn't as scary as I thought. If you're watching this video to try and prepare for this interview, do not panic. The interview was sort of in 2 halves. The first half was more of the serious stuff, so asking questions about safeguarding, sort of what does that mean to you, what do you think inappropriate behaviour around children would be. And then the second half was him asking more about me, about the stuff that I've put on my application. Do I work? What do I do when I'm not working? They'll give you tips and like notes what to add in, if there's any typos that they've picked up. It's just to help with little things like that and give you a better chance of actually being placed. Step 3 is actually getting placed at a camp. After you've had the interview and you've had the go ahead from your interviewer, you kind of say bye to them and they're gone. your profile goes live, so this means that all of the camps can now see you. And one of the camps that I actually had a Skype interview with told me it was sort of like Tinder but looking for staff. So they literally just scroll through, see the pictures, see a bit about you. If they like the look of you, they can arrange a Skype interview with you. So you'll normally receive an email from the camp. It could take a couple of days, it could take a couple of months for you to get an interview for a camp, but don't panic because everyone's experience is different. But yeah, I got an email basically trying to arrange this interview on Skype. Again, I was really nervous. I was looking online, what are they going to ask me? I actually had 2 Skype interviews. One question they did both ask me, which stuck out to me, was what would you do if you didn't get along with some of the staff, or you know, you felt that the staff were bullying you. First time, I can't really remember what I said, but it was something along the lines of, you know, I'd just try and stay out of their way and avoid them and just try not to create any drama. I kind of felt like the lady was trying to like squeeze the right answer out of me. What she wanted to hear, which I knew to say on the second Skype interview, was that you would tell someone, which I guess is right. They just want to make sure that you're comfortable. You know, you're going to America, halfway across the world for 2 months with random people. So I knew to say that on the second Skype interview, and he's very impressed. But the sort of questions they ask you, again, are just about your profile, about the skills you've put, the hobbies you've put, childcare experience. Make sure you're being confident, make sure you're being smiley and talkative, and also don't be afraid to ask them any questions about the camp. I think they give you a lot of opportunities for that. Both of the interviews that I had did. Now when it comes to them actually asking you to commit to their camp, they might not do that on the Skype call. The first one I had, she didn't ask me on the Skype call. We sort of just said, oh yeah, you know, if I think of any questions I'll get in contact with you, and she said the same to me, and yeah, we kind of just said goodbye. And then she emailed me a couple of days later saying that she would like to have me on the camp, which is when I very politely declined because I felt that it would be out of my comfort zone, which is totally okay to do. You need to make sure obviously that you're going to be happy where you go in. And then the second Skype interview I had, he did actually ask me at the end of the call. I did actually say that I wanted to think about it because there's no point rushing into it. You need to make sure it's the right camp for you. And by the end of the Skype call I did think, yeah, this sounds really amazing, but I just thought I'll give myself time to think just in case I come up with any other questions before actually committing. So eventually I did email back saying yes, I would love to work there for the summer. That's when I got a little notification on my profile on the Camp America website, and there was a button saying accept placement. I clicked it and I'm officially going boop, boop, boop. Sorry. So yeah, I got placed. Woo! Of course, if you want to go to America, you need a visa, which was step number 4. The visa is kind of the last step before it's like official. Because if you don't get your visa, you're not going at the end of the day. You first have to fill out a sort of application online. After I finally managed to fill out the online application, which was probably after about a month to be honest, because it took me so long, I arranged an appointment at the American Embassy in London, and it was safe to say I was pretty blooming scared again. And I was trying to research online, how long would I be there for, what questions would they ask you in the visa interview. And again, I really couldn't find anything. So I went to London, I got there, and obviously you need to be prepared, so bring all of the documents. Camp America, again, are so helpful. They'll constantly be sending you emails and stuff in the post about what exactly you need to bring. So it's really lovely to have that sort of support behind you, and you really can email them, phone them up and ask them about anything and they will help you. So I made sure my checklist was all ticked off and I had everything I needed. When I walked around the corner there was a queue of people, but it wasn't too big. I think Camp America actually do days where it's like the Camp America day for the visa and loads of people go on that day. Don't do that because the queues will be huge, there'll be so many people going in. I've seen pictures and videos where the queues are just massive. But I arranged a date to go by myself. There was only a small queue. I was probably waiting in it for about 10 minutes before I got to the front. And this queue was outside, it's to get into the building. When I got to the front of the queue, she checked some of my paperwork and she sort of, to be honest, I don't know. Some of the staff at the embassy were really lovely, but a lot were no, not a lot. It was kind of half and half. Some were absolutely blooming miserable and I don't know why. And then the other half were really, really friendly and nice. So just the lady at the front of that queue wasn't very nice. but she kind of just pointed me in the right direction after she checked my paperwork. Then I entered this quite small building, and that was for the security, so it was airport styled security. You then walk through the other side of the building, and it's sort of this massive courtyard, and you walk up to another huge building. There was another queue inside that building, shocker, and that one did take a bit longer. It was probably about 20 minutes we were waiting in that queue for. There's a lot of nice people, and most people are doing some sort of summer camp, especially at this time of year, and everyone was talking and just saying, oh yeah, where are you going, blah blah blah, so that kind of kills some time. Once we got to the front of this queue, they again checked over some paperwork, they gave us a number, and they told us to get the lift up a floor. And in this building, the big building, I'm gonna sound stupid, but it reminded me of like the Ministry of Magic, or like Bruce Almighty, where Jim Carrey goes into that massive, like, is it a car park? And then Morgan Freeman's there just in this massive white room, you know, and the big drawer comes out. That's what it reminded me of, because it was all just big and white. Anyway, when we got upstairs, you just sit down and there's these big TV screens. You know at McDonald's when you order your food and when your food's ready, the number pings up? It's a bit like that. Every 5 or 10 seconds a different number pings up, and you literally go to this booth. It's not even in a different room. It's like when you're buying a train ticket, you stand there and they take some fingerprints, they look over your paperwork again, and then they send you back. You sit down again on the other side of the room, and then when your number pings up again, you go to a different booth, or the same one depending on what number you get, and that's when they'll actually interview you. I say interview, it was a couple of questions that they ask whilst they're looking at your paperwork and putting it all through on the computer. So he asked me if I'd been before, he asked me what camp I was doing and what I'm doing there, and he also asked me if I had a job to come back to. I think they were literally the 3 questions he asked me, and after that, that was it. He just said, yeah, your visa's been approved. So getting your visa, it's really not hard on the interview side of stuff. It's more just a lot of waiting around, but it only took a couple of hours. Once you've got your visa through, then there's just the last couple of bits before you go away to camp. So it's getting your medical insurance, which I still need to do, but all you have to do is get the doctors to fill out a medical form and then scan that over to Camp America. You also need to just confirm your flights and go to an orientation. So I've confirmed my flights. My flight is on the 31st of May, and I'm going to an orientation on the 18th of May, and I think that's just like giving you tips, telling you what to expect and stuff like that. So it could be a long process, but actually you could get this done really fast, and applying it's not hard because you've got the whole Camp America team behind you. When it comes to prices, altogether it cost me just under £600, but that's including medical insurance, it's including the flights. Obviously when I get to camp I'll have the accommodation, I'll have the food, and it's for the whole experience. So to be fair, I'm not mad at that price because you also get pocket money from most of the camps, and I think I'm getting more than £600 for my pocket money over the 2 months, so I'll get all of that money back. I hope this video was somewhat helpful to you or gave you some insight into the whole sort of application process. I am really bad at explaining stuff, so if you do have any more questions about anything I've said, comment down below and I'll try and reply to them all. So expect a lot more videos about or at Camp America on this channel. If you have any video ideas that you want me to do, comment them down below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye!